Hey traders, TG Watkins here. Today I'm going to be showing you my trading setup since I know we all want to see everybody's setup. We got all the monitors and just kind of what are we doing, what are we hanging out, and what is it like when I'm on the microphone with you guys and everything. And today we'll see how much of an interruption, but you guys probably know some of my cute fuzzy friends. This is Otis, one of our two cats, and hopefully he won't get into too much of the way today, but we'll see. So anyway, if we kind of go through this, got my computer screens and everything else like this. The one big fancy thing that I really like is that I have the Aegon. I think it's an ASOS or something, ASOS. Nothing special or fancy, just that it is a super ultra wide. And I really, really like that. This was a little bit of a treat that I got myself in during COVID when, everything was going up, market was doing great. And I was at my computer a lot and I thought, you know what, something like this would be really cool. And it is. I really highly recommend this. Make sure you get one with a little bit of a curvature. And we'll see. I know there are a whole bunch of other developments since we've gotten this in the few years that they've come out with them. And then up top, I don't have two because I need to actually have two separate screens for when I broadcast. When I'm broadcasting from you guys, you usually see me looking up in one corner. I'm always looking at this screen. So that is where I am broadcasting from. My Sony camera, which is my webcam back here, which is what I use. You guys can see me looking at that. Usually I have a light of some source in order to get that looking good. And then back here is kind of my background. And, we just remodeled the house. And so this is where everything has kind of worked out. There used to be a big bookshelf and everything. We removed it, repainted everything, and now I'm kind of here. And so I have my two individual screens. Again, nothing special. I do have arms back here that hold these, and I actually had to do some modifications because I needed to move them further away than the thing was actually capable of. I do own a 1977 Camaro. I've had it since basic 8th grade graduation, and it took me 2 years to restore. And so I've got a bunch of Camaro gifts and paraphernalia as far as stuff like that goes. So this was the latest gift from my sister and brother-in-law. And then over here, you can see these are also our toys. So my 1977 Camaro in the middle. We have the Mole MX-7 on the right, and we have the Glass Air 3 on the left, and a couple other pictures of them on either side. And this was back in Arizona. We found a nice photographer who did some really, really cool HDR type stuff. And I liked his work, and I called him up and said, hey, can we do this? And we found a perfect day with good weather, gave some clouds to give some texture. And it's just, I have a lot of fun looking at that every time I trade here. So as we kind of go around, I have a sit-stand desk. I am most of the time standing, so if you guys hear me or see me on mic, I'm always standing. It's good for your blood flow and everything else like that. And nothing special from IKEA. Got some speakers behind here. Have a little bit of an extension as far as my armrest here because in order to keep my face far enough away from the screens, I was just running out of desk. So I needed to do something like this. And then this is my drawing thing. So you guys can see here the stylus. This is a Wacom 1, just a Wacom 1. I'll give you some close-up pictures of all this stuff as well. And you can see here, this is what I draw. And so it draws on the screen. So I'm always kind of doing this kind of thing. And then I actually have a split keyboard. This literally is in two pieces as far as the keyboard goes. Because for me, when I'm standing or typing, my elbows are out, and which puts the wrists at an angle like this. And I always find if I'm trying to type like this, my wrists are bent. And so I couldn't find a split keyboard that was good enough until I came across this one. It's a Kinesis Freestyle Pro. I don't know, it was trial and error until which ones wouldn't break and which ones were comfortable. And so that's what we did. Now I can actually always adjust based on how comfortable it is. Sometimes I want it wider, sometimes I want it a little closer, but I have that perfect adjustability. Same thing with the mouse. It's kind of one of these vertical mice, and this is also supposed to be for ergonomics. Keeps your wrist nice and straight so you don't cross over all the time like this since I'm at the desk quite often. I think that mostly takes care of this. You can see all the screens. I like to use Thinkorswim. This is my setup, and this is how you guys see it. And as far as my actual setup and how I view the stock market, I tell everybody, whether I'm day trading or whether I'm swing trading, I'm always looking at all of the charts. And really, this is very important. I tell people you need to have a minimum of 2 screens so that you can get enough real estate on here. And the reason I say that is because I have the monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, and then sometimes I have the 15 over here as well. In fact, I can just show you here, right there. So daily, hourly, 15. And if you guys only have 2 screens, most of the time I'd have monthly, weekly on here, and then daily, hourly, or daily, hourly 15 up here. And that's how I tell people to set up their trading thing so that you can have your crosshairs lined up so that if you're looking at a particular point, you know exactly where that point is on the 15, the daily, weekly, monthly, anywhere in there, so you can actually correlate everything as far as the various time frames. This is my microphone. It's a Yeti Blue. I think this is their mini. I have their regular size, but the mini works just fine for me. I have a little bit of an arm out here, just makes it easier. I can pull it out, put it back in. Again, nothing too fancy. It's just kind of things that have accumulated over time. And then over here, this is another thing that I got a little armrest for my mouse so that I can be in here and just move around. Because otherwise, if I rest here, my elbows you almost get like rug burn by just rubbing it over here so much. This is a nice support. I found that back in the day, using the mouse so much, I'd always have my shoulder up and it was kind of tiring the muscles. So I kind of found all these various ergonomic ways to really get my trade setup healthy for me, for my body, and make sure that while I am at my computer quite often, I'm not wearing myself out, making my body joints stiff or wearing out and getting some repetitive injuries, that kind of thing. So we got that. And then over here, remember, since we just remodeled the house, I knew I was going to have more screens, but I'm kind of out of room to really kind of put it in this area from what you guys can see. And so I thought, okay, let me just put it on this wall. And I haven't quite figured out how I want to mount the screens or if I really wanted to. So I had a dresser or a drawer here with the computer, and I just built this surface so that they'd be at the right height that I wanted. And honestly, it's been working for the last, 10 months or so. And I think I'm probably just going to leave it. Maybe I'll paint it one day, but it's really just doing the job that I need of getting these screens higher without putting holes in the wall either. This is my day trading setup. What I have here are these are the options, the 0DT options that I would be trading. These are calls, these are puts, and this is what I look at throughout the day to see how things are moving. And I can actually trade these the same way that I trade stocks. It's really neat. If you guys are interested, simplertrading.com/Moxie, and you guys come over and find out some of my 0DT trading classes and how I do that. On my right screen, I don't always have a picture of myself up here. Usually I have Spot Gamma or GexBot, which are gamma information services. They can tell you where options are going and where kind of pressure is going, like order flow for options. And that's actually really helpful to tell you what's happening inside of the market, especially for the SPX. And this is basically my day trade setup and how I work over here. Down below here is the salt lamp. When I first joined Simpler in Austin, everybody had a salt lamp, and John Carter had a huge salt lamp. And salt lamps are supposed to give off good energy, kind of calming and all that stuff. And so a little woo-woo. And everyone in Simpler had it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a really cool thing. And so my parents, I told them about this. And so as a gift, when I got down to Austin, Texas, and some of my early days in Simpler Trading, my parents bought me a salt lamp for my office at Simpler Trading. So now it's here, and I turn that on every day. So it's kind of a nice warm glow. Beyond that, I think the only other thing would be my chair. If you guys can see this, nothing too fancy. I've had this thing for years, and it has held up very well. It's it's one of those kind of racer type computer chairs. Really what I needed was an office chair that could recline, because I needed to have an angle that was a little bit more than just standard office chairs because of my back, to keep it so I could open up a little bit. And then what I also bought, and I don't know if you guys can really see this, I'll give you some pictures, but a really, really nice foam pad. I find that computer chairs, they're pretty firm. This is super duper cushy. And I think also, if you remember Purple, there's a company out there that makes really cushy pads, Purple. Otherwise, this one's like hospital grade, something like that. But it's really nice to kind of spread out the weight, especially if you're going to be sitting for long periods of time. Although I do try to stand as much as possible. Beyond that, I think that is everything. If you guys have any questions about my particular setup or anything else that you've seen here, or where you want to get some of these parts, most everything is on Amazon or eBay or whatever. Again, nothing super exceptional. And I hope you guys had a good time with it. And in the comments, show me yours. Take some pictures. I know everybody's kind of proud of what their setup looks like, especially some people we have handles like, Victor 12 screen, or I know Nomo FOMO has a mobile trading setup that looks just like his home setup. And he's got something like 3 or 4 screens that he can set up at a computer in a hotel room. So yeah, send some pictures. Let me know what you guys look like as far as your setup and how it works for you. This one's still a little bit in evolution. I haven't quite figured out everything because I'm a little bit space confined, but I think for what I have, it's looking really nice, and it does the trick for me. So I'm happy with it. So thanks for tuning in. And remember, simplertrading.com/Moxie if you want to find any more information about me. Thanks again.